Welcome to our worship service at First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Here we are once again in our sweaters and turtlenecks, moving together through February, nurturing our connections, seeking inspiration, and ever hopeful as the hours of daylight grow steadily longer. My name is Magdalene Lindeberg, and I'm the Celebration Associate today. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to everyone, whether you are newcomers or longtime attendees, members of the Ithaca community, or watching from somewhere else. We are so glad you've chosen to be with us. Please check your email, our Facebook page, and the church website for more information about creating connections. If you'd like to receive weekly updates describing opportunities for engagement, please email a request to office@uuithaca.org. Newcomers are especially invited to visit our website and complete a newcomer form on the homepage so that we can get to know you and you can learn more about us. Our service this morning has been pre-recorded, but we look forward to sharing the service broadcast on Sunday morning and seeing you at the live coffee hour that follows. Welcome.
The word courage comes from the Latin cor, which means heart. According to poet Mark Nepo, the original use of the word courage meant to stand by one's core. A striking concept that reinforces the belief found in almost all traditions that living from the center is what enables us to face whatever life has to offer. To encourage means to hearten, to impart strength and confidence. This is our work as a religious community, to encourage one another, to be bold in engaging the world around us, as well as what scares us internally, to give one another the confidence and heart to live as fully as possible. With full hearts, we affirm our relationships with one another, we recognize our agency and our connective power, and we accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous. The words of my colleague, Reverend Erica Hewitt. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Here you belong.
Today, we light our chalice to shine brightly on our beloved community. We build beloved community by starting within ourselves, thinking about our impact, our actions, believing that we can make a difference with our voices. We build a beloved community by supporting others, protecting vulnerable people, challenging unfairness and inequity, defeating oppression, building justice. We build a beloved community by taking care of our world, fighting against climate change, organizing, creating, discovering new ways of existing in harmony with our planet. We build a beloved community by working together, supporting each other, amplifying the voices of the marginalized, transforming our world with light and love. As we light our chalice, our light will shine brightly in the world.
And we'll give them God in his stead.
morning, friends, and happy Valentine's Day. Our faith is an expansive one. Historically, we UUs disagreed with those who believed that there is only one truth when it comes to religion. And instead, we asserted that all people have goodness in them, and that all of humanity is welcomed by the expanse of the unknown and of love. That's why we have universalism in our name, Unitarian Universalists. The Universalists believed in universal salvation, or universal goodness. This call of universalism was a call to continually expand our love to wider and wider circles until all of humanity and the natural world is embraced. So one of the ways our faith guides us into becoming a people of beloved community is by telling us to grow your love beyond boundaries. Let's open up our small packets dated 2/14 or February 14th now. What did you find inside of yours? I found this. It looks like hearts inside of hearts inside of hearts. On Valentine's Day, we exchange Valentines with people to show them we love them. It's easy to think about who we love. Parents and grandparents, friends, our pets. What if we wanted to grow that love? We might think of what happens when you throw a stone into a pond. It makes circles, rippling outward, bigger and bigger. We could grow love beyond boundaries like ripples. What would those ripples be? Take a look now at that tiny heart in the center. That's you. We want to start with self-love. That next heart would be our family. How about the next one? What would come next? Close friends and extended family. How about the even bigger heart? That one would be the people in our neighborhood. What about the even bigger heart? That would be the people in our church and school, the teams and clubs that we're part of. How about the one that's even bigger than that? Those would be the people in our town or city. I see an even bigger heart. Those would be the people in our state, in New York State. There's a pretty giant heart in there, and that would be the people in our country. And finally, that biggest heart, that is all the people in our world community. We can think of love without boundaries for the people we don't know really well, and the people who are different from us. This idea of loving all people and beings, not just those close to us and the same as us, is what beloved community is all about. This month, we offered the members of our community here at Fuse It the chance to share with all of us what love means to them. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in words, art, pictures, images, and videos. This following video is how our community answered these questions. What does love mean to you? What makes you feel loved? How do you show love? For me, love means all of those things that we talked about with our hearts earlier. Family, friends, neighbors, all of you here at Fuse It, our town and country, and all of the people in this beloved world community.
A Light Left On by May Sarton. In the evening, we came back into our yellow room, for a moment taken aback to find the light left on, falling on silent flowers, table, book, empty chair, while we had gone elsewhere, had been away for hours. When we came home together, we found the inside weather, all of our love unended. The quiet light demanded, and we gave, in a look at yellow walls and open book, the deepest world we share, and do not talk about, but have to have, was there, and by that light found out.
when people listen to me. I show my love by giving hugs.
Love is hard. Love for people, especially those who are different from you. Love that says, I see you as a person. Love that says, let your unique light shine in the world, because each of our souls touches the divine mystery. Love that says, we are on a journey together, and my fate is tied up with yours. Love that grabs you and won't let you go until your whole life is dedicated to siding with love. Love that changes the world. Love is hard. Do it anyway.
Love means kittens. Love means summertime and beaches. Love means puppies. Love means sisters. Love means family. Love means snuggles.
All we need is love, love, love. All we need is love.
Each week we share together a time of communal spiritual practice where we lift up the circumstances and people in our lives that are bringing us great joy, and those things that we hold in our hearts that are bringing us concern or worry, things that are bringing us sorrow. This week, I lift up the hundreds of thousands of people across the globe who have lost their lives to the coronavirus pandemic. And I lift up all of us who, almost a year in, are continuing to do our best with masking and social distancing and staying home. And I want to send strength and courage to the parents out there, the caregivers for children and for youth. I see you. We see you. We know that you sometimes feel as though you are not enough, and I hope that you know that you are a rock star, that you are more than enough, and you're doing a great job. And I want to lift up, during these times of isolation, all who are struggling with illnesses of their body or their minds, those who are struggling with addiction, those who are struggling with unsafe home lives or with the loss of people who you love, those feelings of being alone. May you find a sense of belonging even amidst this difficult time. If you're watching this service in its live format, I invite you to type your joy or your sorrow into the chat box, or if you wish, you can simply speak it aloud and speak it into the universe so that we may hold it with deep, deep care. Together, may we trust that these joys and these sorrows are held by the universe, and may we offer our love and our compassion so that they may be held with care. At the beginning of our live coffee hour each week, we'll have time with a facilitator who will offer space for more sharing of joys and sorrows, and I invite you to visit with us in that time of sharing and community that happens after our service each week. So holding in our hearts all that has been shared this morning, all that stays in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, I invite you to listen to these words by Carrie McDonald and the Reverend Dr. Terasa Cooley. These are words that may resonate with you in these times when things are especially difficult. Love is hard. Love for people, especially those who are different from you. Love that says, I see you as a person. Love that says, let your unique light shine in the world, because each of our souls touches the divine mystery. Love that says we are on a journey together, and my fate is tied up with yours. Love that grabs you and won't let go until your whole life is dedicated to siding with love. Love that changes the world. Love is hard. Do it anyway. So may it be. Amen. And blessed be.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Now let's sing it together in Spanish. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla y amor, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arriégame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. The giving information will appear on your screen in a moment during the offertory music. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. The first time you give with the text link, it's a longer process, but after the initial information is entered, the following donations are quick and easy. So please take a moment and give through either the text option or the giving button on the homepage of the website. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Our reading this morning is a poem by the poet Richard Blanco. He was selected by President Obama as the 5th inaugural poet for the United States. He was at the time the youngest, the first Latino, immigrant, and gay person to serve in that role. He was born in Madrid to Cuban exile parents, and he was raised by them in Miami, Florida. This poem is called Story by Richard Blanco. Say we live on. Say we'll forget the masks that kept us from dying from the invisible. But say we won't ever forget the invisible masks we realized we had been wearing most of our lives, disguising ourselves from each other. Say we won't veil ourselves again, that our souls will keep breathing timelessly, that we won't return to clocking our lives with lists and appointments. Say we will keep our days errant as sun showers, impulsive as a star's falling. Say this isn't our end. Say I'll get to be as thrilled as a boy spinning again in my barber's chair. Tell him how I've missed his winged scissors, chirping away my shaggy hair, eclipsing my eyes. His warm clouds of foam, the sharp love of his razor's tender strokes on my beard. Say I'll get more chances to say more than thanks. Shirley at the checkout line, praise her turquoise jewelry, her son in photos taped to her register, dare to ask about her throat cancer. Say this isn't her end. Say my mother's cloudy eyes won't die from the goodbye kiss I last gave her. Say that wasn't our final goodbye. Nor will we be stranded behind a quarantine window, trying to see our refracted faces beyond the glare. Read our lips, press the warmth of our palms to the cold glass. Say I won't be kept from her bedside to listen to her last words, that we'll have years to speak of the decades of our unspoken love that separated us. Say that this isn't how we'll end. Say all the restaurant chairs will get back on their feet, that we'll all sit for another lifetime of savoring all we had never fully savored. The server as poet reciting flavors not on the menu, the candlelight flicker as appetizer. Friends' spicy gossip and rich, saucy laughter, sharing entrees of memories, no longer 6 feet apart. Our beloved's lips as velvety as the wine, the dessert served sweet in their eyes. Say this is no one's end. Say my husband and I will keep on honing our home cooking together, find new recipes for love in the kitchen, our kisses and tears while dicing onions, eggs cracking in tune with Aretha's croon, dancing as we heat up the oven. Say we'll never stop feasting on the taste of our stories, sweet or sour, but say our table will never be set for just one. Say neither of us dies. Many more cheers to our good health. Say we will never end. Say we'll all still take the time we once needed to walk alone and gently through our neighborhoods, keep noticing the zen of anthills and sidewalk cracks, blossoming weeds, of yappy dogs and silent swing sets rusting in backyards, of neat hedges hiding mansions and scruffy lawns of boarded up homes. Say we won't forget our seeing that every kind of life is worth living, worth saving. Say this is nobody's end, or say this will be my end. Say the loving hands of gloved, gowned angels risking their lives to save mine won't be able to keep me here. Say this is the last breath of my last poem, will of my last thoughts. I've witnessed massive swarms of fireflies grace my garden like never before, drawn to the air cleansed of our arrogant greed. Their glow a flashback to a time before us. An omen of earth without us, a reminder we're never immune to nature. I say this might be the end we've always needed, to begin again. I say this may be the end to let us hope to heal, to evolve, reach the stars. Again I'll say, heal, evolve, reach, and become the stars that became us, whether or not, or is not, whether or not, this is or is not our end. During this pandemic time, there has been so much talk of when we go back. When we go back to our workplaces, our schools, our church buildings, our summer camps. Someday, we say, when we go back to visiting our parents inside their homes where we grew up, when we go back to our ways of being before all of this. And as I've said before, and I will say again, I hope and pray that we don't go back, at least not fully. Just as Richard Blanco illustrates in our reading this morning, I pray that this is not the end. I pray that the lessons we have learned in this time don't vanish as we move forward. I pray that we will move forward into something new now that we know more and feel more about the injustices in our world and the ways we need one another in our lives. And that we will indeed move forward in the boldest and most intentional of ways with an awareness we didn't have before. And that in our moving forward, we do so in the ways of love. As we reflect on our monthly theme of beloved community, we're exploring what being rooted in love really means. As we're reminded in our meditation this morning, love is hard. Love calls us beyond ourselves. Love that calls us to notice. Love that calls us to move in the ways of justice is not an easy love. This is not a love that acknowledges only that which we view with rosy glasses, or this worldview that's unrealistic, but that which we view in its entirety, the good and the bad, everything in between. This is where we find ourselves, in the midst of a shared experience that is illustrating right before our eyes the beautiful and broken and unique ways that love shows up in our communities and in our world. There are so many ways that love manifests itself in our lives, through our family, whether that family is chosen or adopted, found or biological, through our friendships, those from long ago and those that continue to nurture us, through the connection we feel to our ancestors and our mentors, those whose shoulders upon which we stand, and a love of the natural world, the promise of the sun rising and setting each day, of the nurturing dark of winter, the coming of spring, the love of being held by the natural rhythms of the world. Love abounds. Love surrounds us in our lives and in our striving to amplify and illustrate it in our actions and our experiences. And it's hard. Love is hard. Love with a capital L calls us to have hard conversations, calls us to say hard things and to take a deep breath every now and then and check in with each other and ourselves. How are we doing? What is propelling us forward? Are we acting in alignment with who we want to be? Can we be brave enough to move forward into who we might be next? This assessing and checking in and aligning our values with our actions, it's a process of living into beloved community. Beloved community is not a noun, it is a verb. This is a way that we can stop and reflect on what we've done, what we can do better. And it's an opportunity to say thank you and I love you to a world and a community that has nurtured us into our current way of being. In doing so, we offer this space for forgiveness, for growth, for promising to do better next time. There's an ancient Hawaiian and Polynesian indigenous practice called ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. It's used in times of healing what has been broken in a relationship. Ho'oponopono has different elements and rituals, but the basic prayer is this: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. While this ritual is for the healing of any relationship, I have also suggested that some people use it at the end of a person's life. Often when we're dealing with the grief that comes from such great loss, it can be hard to find the words to say to a person. I mean, what do you say to a person who you love so deeply in those last moments that you share with them? Perhaps by focusing on these 4 statements, we can think more clearly about all of those emotions swimming around. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Today, as we're reflecting on love and how it manifests itself in our world, I want to suggest that we write a letter. I want to write a love letter to the world using the practice of ho'oponopono. Perhaps this is because at times it feels like our world is broken, or at least bruised. Perhaps because, as was illustrated in our reading today, our eyes have been opened in new ways to a way of seeing the world and experiencing its beauty during this time of social distancing, and noticing the impact we have on it in both good and bad ways. Perhaps because we're in the middle of an ending of something, an end of what we've known, and a beginning of whatever will come next, whatever we will come to know. And so this is a chance for us to pause and to give thanks, to apologize, to seek forgiveness, to profess our love for each other and for the world that we share. So, a love letter to the world. Roses are red. I'm just kidding. I'm not really starting it like that. I'm joking. To my darling, beloved, vast and expansive world. To the world that has greeted me each morning and night of my life, and the world that imagined me into being as a glimmer long before I existed. To the world where waters wash onto shores, leaving traces of the depths of the ocean beneath the swirling waters for children to find on the sand. To the world where mountains call to goats and humans alike, and lush green trees grow in the wide open expanse, welcoming flying creatures to sail on the invisible particles of flight. We are sorry. We are sorry that we have forgotten that we come from you and are made up of you. We're sorry that we forget that we belong to each other. We're sorry that we neglect to remember that we belong to you and to all who have come before us, and to something larger than all that ever was and all that ever will be. We're sorry that we harm each other. We're sorry that we make it all about us, as if the great turning of this vast planet happens because we make it so, when we know deep in our being that the turning has happened and will always and forever happen, whether we are here or not. We are sorry that we are sometimes distracted and consumed by our own ambition and success, and we don't take the time to acknowledge all that has buoyed us in our lives to help us reach this point. We are sorry for ignoring the sun as it rises, for zooming past the waterfalls rushing in waves of power and brilliance. We are sorry for busying ourselves with the business and the busyness instead of being ourselves with each other. Please forgive us. Please forgive us even as we mess up again and again and again. Please forgive our ignorance and our complacency in the powers that have shaped our communities. Please forgive the ways we have forever transformed this planet. Please forgive us for continuing the sins of our ancestors so that we might imagine a world of justice and of love. Thank you. Thank you for the ice that encases the bare tree limbs, for the warmth of the sun, for the rain. Thank you for friendship and family and that unexpected note from a friend. Thank you for animals that put up with us being home and invading their space all day. Thank you for neighbors playing music together on balconies. Thank you for YouTube and Facebook, and yes, even for Zoom. Thank you for patience and resilience of the human spirit, for our ability to do hard things. Thank you for putting up with our impatience with each other, and yes, even sometimes with the world. We love you. We love your irony and your twists of fate, even as we wail into the open air. We love that we can love each other so deeply that when the time comes, we weep at our losses. We love deeply, and that means we grieve deeply, and still we wake again to love deeply again, because it is what we are meant to do. We love you for the ways you remind us of beauty, in flowers and strawberries and hummingbirds, in snowflakes and even mosquitoes. Okay, not really mosquitoes. We love you, even in your brokenness. We love you, even in the ways you have let us down. We love you, even though you break our heart with loss and grief and tragedy and pain. We love, even though it is hard, because it is who we are and what we are meant to do. We love you. Beloved and broken and mystical and beautiful and ugly and breathtaking and bigger than us, but also somehow as small as a grain of sand. We love you, world. We love you. As we consider how we have been transformed by love in this past year, as we reflect on the ways that community has surprised us and, yes, at times let us down, as we consider what we will carry forward with us into the future and how we will let go of what no longer serves us, of what once was, may we do so with gratitude and hope in our hearts. May we open ourselves to notice the ways that love and beauty abound. May we acknowledge and thank and remember the ways we are joyfully surprised. And may we continue to write a love letter to the world, calling forth the ways it has nurtured and healed, challenged, and held us. And may we say time and time again to the world, to ourselves, to each other, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So may it be. Amen. And blessed be.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer. A child is born among us and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. We grin to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our time to be together. And with the grace of age, we share the wonder of youth. And we believe that growing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one of us fills us all with pain and grief. But yes, we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. need to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
As we extinguish our chalices, we do not let go of the hope and courage that they represent. We go forth from this place carrying our sense of wonder and imagination, our yearning for beloved community. We carry our promise to work for justice, our compassion for all, our love and our courage out into this beautiful and broken world. Our service has ended. Let our true service now begin. Go in peace.